Boom, we are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. I want to start off by sharing a little story about being right and early. Now, one of the fun things about being right is you get to receive the benefits of having the positive net effect of, let's say, making an early investment. The difficult part, let's say, of buying Bitcoin at $800, $400, $300 is there were very few people that would agree with you. So you had to be able to look at almost 98% of the people who were trying to tell you you were wrong, because that's how it was, and go, hey, look, screw you. See, one of the fun parts about being early is not just being right, but it's the fact that you need to be strong enough in your own will and sentiment to understand that the majority of people are going to disagree with you and that the masses are usually often wrong. If everybody's going in one direction, I'm betting the other way, because that's where the most amount of upside is. So I wanted to share that because I think it's an interesting aspect about getting something right early. It also means you need to be able to withstand and fortify yourself against all the stupid people who have no idea what they're talking about. So I think it's a really important part of any good investment thesis is your ability to remain steadfast against all the naysayers who are clearly uninformed about what's going on. But what I want to do today, now that we've kind of gone over that first little bit of a storyline, is take a look at our regular channels here. So boom, here is Bitcoin on the 6 hour, large time frame. What are we watching right now? This appears to be the final stages of our SOS and LPS phases out of the finality of our trading range. So what does that mean? Well, there's two things. Well, number one, this larger trading range that took about 90 days to complete has now moved above the trading range. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a dead cat bounce. Well, no, you don't actually normally have dead cat bounces that move above the box in such a strong fashion. Now, if all of a sudden Bitcoin closed below the box here like this at 40,000, we'd be really worried because you could go, oh, well, maybe this is a phase C and we screwed up. Although, judging by how much bullish momentum we have, how many charts we have that have all done this exact same thing, let's go and take a look at Solana, for example. Solana by Bitcoin as a side-by-side. Here's your falling wedge pattern, your final low volume spring, and your SOS and breakout into new all-time highs. Now, normally dead cat bounces, as far as I know, do not create all-time highs. It's one of the fun parts about having the rest of the market in the ecosystem to give us some validation to our thesis. Here, even Avalanche at the moment at $49 is only $10 away ish from its all-time high. Actually, from the actual 6 hour chart, it's only $4 away from the all-time high. So here again, you see this repeating pattern. Here was our falling wedge. Here's where we took our positions in this blue box. We added secondary positions at $22.50, and we've had this extraordinary growth for Avalanche outside of the back of the box, over 200% in that trade in less than 20 days. Now, again, dead cat bounces do not move into all-time highs. Cardano, new all-time high recently. This is not a dead cat bounce. And a lot of people, when you're looking at Bitcoin, you have to take the rest of the market at a relative stature. So one of the important parts again here is that if you believe you are right, one of the best things you can do is learn to ignore everybody else. And it's one of the hardest things about being a good investor and being early is being able to withstand all the nonsense of the naysayers who really have no background or research in any way, shape, or form to give a credible answer. Usually what they're doing is regurgitating stuff that they've heard about Bitcoin has died or it's a scam. Now, again, Bitcoin is now becoming mainstream, regularly accepted. We're no longer in that state where people are like, oh, you're silly for buying Bitcoin. Now you're silly for not buying Bitcoin. But if you are early to any good sentiment, and this is a really important part about being a good investor who is ahead of the curve, you need to be able to withstand all the dimwits who are trying to tell you that you are wrong, who clearly have no background or right for you to listen to them. So what I do is I ignore people on Twitter, and I do not listen to anybody on YouTube aside from Cathie Wood. Now, maybe it's because I have a cute little crush on Cathie Wood. Hey, Cathie, come on the show sometime. But really, I think the important part again here is to understand that in any good investment, when you are early, you're going to have to learn how to maintain your center and ignore the herd of nonsense who are clearly, if you've done your homework, fundamentally speaking, wrong. And that's probably one of the hardest parts. Making the investment is easy. Being able to withstand so many people trying to tell you that you are wrong or that you're misinformed or you're undereducated about these things, that is the hardest part about being a good early investor. And by the time we get to where we are now, where everybody's accepting Bitcoin, like, oh, well, you were so lucky buying Bitcoin at $90. It's like, no, I was right. And I was smart enough to ignore all the idiots who tried to tell me I was wrong. So I spend my life researching. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. All my extra time and freedom, I'm either learning how to study and play music, or I'm studying other areas of my own interest, which you might be able to tell from some of my Instagram or Twitter posts. Now, I will never talk about those things on YouTube because I'm very likely to get banned, but at least on the other platforms, you ban me from Facebook, you go right ahead and ban me from Instagram. I do not care. Those platforms basically suck anyways. So the point of this is being right, being early, and being able to withstand all the dimwits who get in your way is a very difficult process. And that's why I suggest meditation and ignoring as much of the noise and stupidity as possible. It's a great benefit to everyone. So Ethereum here as well. Also, final stages of this LPS. Everything is looking really strong. Again, we are in a smaller part of the trading range. And this is, again, what's fun here is that when you compare Avalanche, we had a very short time frame here between $20 and $24 where the SOS phase happened so quickly and then just exploded. Whereas here with Ethereum, you're dealing with a much larger market cap. You're dealing with so many more buyers and sellers. They're just not going to react the same way. Same with Solana. This was a fairly small ecosystem in comparison, and the SOS and the LPS phase here was almost non-existent before it just broke outside of the trading range. Here on 1inch, we're actually early still. And this is, I wanted to use 1inch as an example here because I've got a position going just as a kind of a diary of a trade for all the private group, all the private members who I want to share a process of learning with. Down here on the screen right now, we have this fun area. So on the VPVR, which I think is a very important thing to pay attention to, it's the volume profiler. It shows how much buying and selling has taken place. Notice how we're coming down to try to test the top of the point of control here. This is really nice. I believe that this is going to be the number 7 tick. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe not. Maybe it could be 5, 6, 7. One more. We could have one more final touch here at $3. But this is the final area of breakout for 1inch. So I think this is the perfect example of a smaller cap token that's not broken out yet, but in its final stages of breakout to show how these things work. You know, it worked really well with Solana. It worked really well with Avalanche. So what my goal here is to do is just to kind of show the consistent storyline that's been taking place. Here with Solana, it was even a tighter channel. On Avalanche, it was again a fairly nice widening megaphone pattern, and here on 1inch as well, we seem to be getting this widening megaphone pattern coming down to what's $3.23 right now. FTT, again, if you take the mid-range of the horizontal of the trading range, something like this, as soon as we hit this part here, we broke out. We have hit the top of the point of control, have not been able to get into new all-time highs. And again, we could expect that the SOS and LPS phases actually come all the way back down here. So I wouldn't get too overzealous. Again, I think, shout out to Baloo for pointing out one of my quotable quotes yesterday, which is that investing is trading dollars for valuable assets, and trading is trading assets for dollars. And effectively, if you know that the dollars are being basically inflated at a non-stop precipice of printing, holding dollars is a sad gameplay. You are more beneficial by continuing to accumulate assets and measuring the value of your portfolio in assets, not in dollars. And that's probably one of the hardest transitions to make. People are like, oh, what should I take profits into? More fucking assets. Anyways, Cardano, again, new all-time highs. Looks like we peaked out here for a little bit though. These very large, strong wicks at the top show me we're at least at a temporary high for now. We could come back down as low as $2.30. I believe we'll probably form a trading range here to bring us through the next month of nonsense. So I'm just gonna leave that drawn there. SRM has dropped back down to its point of control as well. Again, very similar horizontal trading range here, falling wedge, breakout, SOS, first LPS and SOS phase is bringing us up almost 100%. So we're keeping a close eye on the market and these repeating patterns as we move forward. Really quickly, what we're going to do today is go over the VIX, the volatility index for the S&P 500. Had a quick spike last week. There's a lot of nonsense going on. Well, first off, the governments are full of nonsense. You should very rarely trust them. I've never really been in the best interest of the people. Just do some homework. Next thing, the dollar index as well. Wow, cool. This is an interesting turn of events. Again, it goes against anyone who is saying that the dollar and the Bitcoin are inversely correlated. That is clearly not the case. Dollar's heading down. Bitcoin is also heading down. There's no correlation here whatsoever. But again, we have hit the top of the trading range for the US dollar here, as I'll loosely put in. A big question is this a phase C, and do we break down lower like this for the dollar? So let's leave that drawn in there to see if we were correct over the next 2 weeks. The S&P 500, this orange line here, this is the amount of printing that has gone on. This is the increase of basically the Federal Reserve notes over time. And as you can see, it basically correlates identically with assets. And this is one of the important parts about that quote that I shared earlier, which is investing is trading dollars for assets and trading is trading assets for dollars. Now, when they're inflating the currency, you want to be on the asset side of this game, not the dollar, because you're losing effectively purchasing power on a day over day, month over month, year over year basis. And they tell you at least 2 to 3% a year, which means over 10 years, that's 20 to 30% of your purchasing power thrown straight into the drain through this monetary printing. This is why investing is so important to understand, is because you want and need to be trading your dollars for real assets. The dollars are worthless. The assets are the valuable things to keep in mind. The NASDAQ, new all-time highs on the NASDAQ today. Ladies and gentlemen, this now looks to me as if phase C is moving into phase phase D and phase E, and that we're going to see new all-time highs come out of the rest of the stock market in the continuing months. Now here, we already have a new all-time high. Lo and behold, who would have thought? They keep printing money, assets continue to increase in value. We'll take a little bit of a question answer moment here. Always happy to have you guys on the show. I was a lot of fun chatting with you, learning and growing. I also had I think that a little story to start off the beginning of learning how to ignore the masses is such an important part. If you're right and you're early, you're always going to have to put up with people being horribly wrong, and you being able to counteract that by ignoring them. So keep that in mind. One of the things I want to do now here is just read through the quick little questions. Alex Dimwit says, "Damn dimwits." I love that. That's fun. Ninja says, "True icon, next level stuff." I love that. Guys, stock market will drag Bitcoin to 20 grand. That is very unlikely. They're just going to continue to print. Stock market crash? No. I see a stock market crash upwards. I've said that since 2016, and I've been one of the few people on the internet that has said that. And hey, we've been right. I mean, look, again, I'm like, oh, look at me, I was right. No, I could have been easily just as wrong. It was like a flip of a coin. I just decided in 2016 that, hey, they're going to keep printing money. There's no other choice that they can do here. They can't collapse the economy because otherwise we're going back to the 1900s. So what are they going to do? They're going to print and try to continue the escape of velocity until it no longer works. So keep that in mind. At what point are you too early to the point that you were actually wrong? No, you're not. You just, I guess the way to measure the depth of, let's say, being wrong is summated in the quote, "Heads I win, tails I only lose a little." When Bitcoin was $90, if you spent $1,000 on it, well, you could have only lost $1,000. So how wrong could you have been? $1,000 wrong. And for you, who cares what anybody else thinks? I spent $1,000 on NFTs the other day just for shits and giggles, because everyone's like, yeah, well, NFTs, like, you should be exploring and playing based off your capabilities. Well, I don't care. All those NFTs are basically worthless, and as far as it doesn't matter. I'm having fun. Costs money to have fun, unless you like meditating as much as I do, in which case fun is free and quiet often as well. Alex Kushner says, please hit that like button and let us know if you have any questions. Shout out to Alex Kushner. Congratulations on the new family member, Alex. I'm super stoked for you guys. Totem says, Avalanche is just the beginning. Look, the thing I am most bullish on is Avalanche. I've been that way since August. I have not once changed that. If you are interested in acquiring assets, it's not about the price that it's at today. It's about your continual ability to accumulate assets based off what you can afford to invest every month, period. If I said that too quickly, slow the video down, replay that over and over and over again until you understand the net benefit of heads I win, tails I only lose a little in any long-term investment strategy. Any interest in ACH? No idea what that is. You mean like the old bank system? Are you following the NFT space? Yes, I am. I like it. It's beyond my grasp, but also, here's the thing I've learned. If you like Rolexes, I'm not going to get down on you for buying Rolexes. Like, I think someone asked me the other day, like, oh, are you trying to hit on something? No, I don't give a shit. I'm just using it as an example of like buying things. I don't care what you buy. Maybe you like sports cars or sports cards. I agree with Gary Vee here. Whatever interests you, if you should pursue your passion if that makes you happy. And I would never speak against that. Again, this is one of the things about being right and early. Well, I might be wrong about Wayne Gretzky rookie cards in 1970. Be like, why could you want to spend $1,000 on a Wayne Gretzky rookie card? Like, what the fuck do I know? I don't know. I'm just one person who has an opinion. So what I've learned to do is go, hey, look, in the investment world, if these people find it interesting and there's monetary value associated to it, I must be getting something wrong then, not the market. And that's the way you should look at the market. If the market is telling you something, you should not assume that you are correct anymore. The market has been proving us correct with Bitcoin's price. It's been proving us correct with the growth of the stock market over the last 6 years. And because of that, you can start to evaluate your ability to be right over demonstrable frequencies, right? So was I right 7 out of 10 times? Well, great, that's an amazing batting average. I definitely think Bitcoin is going to 100 grand this year. I think it'll actually do it probably by December. So there's that. Rolando Adrian Rodriguez says, hey Tio, thank you for the update. There are so many negative people on YouTube. You're the only one I listen to. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, it's funny. I got in an argument with someone on Twitter today because they're just very, very shallow in their research. They have no idea what they're talking about. And they're like, oh, well, you're so different than I thought. It's like, dude, I'm talking to you in 144 characters. You think I'm going to sound nice to you? I don't give a shit. What you think? Your opinion means nothing to me. Again, the point of being a good investor early is to remember to ignore those people. And so I just block them. I go, great, you're a waste of my time. Block. So I don't always sound nice and happy and cordial to you because that's not my goal here. My goal here is to get the research right and get it early and ignore everybody along the way who tries to tell me I'm wrong, because I've been right so many times when the mainstream media has been wrong so many times that I just blatantly ignore everybody else now because they are so full of crap most of the time. Thoughts on TVK? I have no idea what it is. Any suggestions on hardware wallets? I like Ledger and Trezor. I also like the metal stacked pieces where you store your seed phrases in. I think that's a great one as well. Is Litecoin the underdog? One of the things here is understanding what technology can do for one another. I think that Litecoin is a valuable baby Bitcoin. It's basically Bitcoin, right? But in that understanding of trying to, well, Digibyte is a baby Bitcoin. Raven is a baby Bitcoin. Monero is kind of a baby Bitcoin too. So the whole thesis there is that these technologies are like Beanie Babies. They're one-of-one collectibles of a certain amount of operating supply that has a very similar risk profile to what Bitcoin was. Maybe less now. Bitcoin's become more mainstream, and because of that, it's the support basis is actually quite strong. Way more so than when we were at Bitcoin at $400 and I started the Arcane Bear being like, guys, you should buy Bitcoin. Everyone's like, you're crazy. It's never. I made a video in 2007, the start of 2017, that says Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I stand by that video, right? Being right and early, I had to deal with so many people telling me that I was wrong at that point. And hey, guess what? I wasn't. right? And so that's such a core part of being a good early investor. I really can't stress that enough after some of my conversations today. Where do you think Avalanche will end up at the end of the bull market? Megan, that's kind of an unimportant answer to me because I'm more interested in where Avalanche might be over 10 years. Who gives a what it does in this cycle? You could keep buying it all the way to the top, keep buying it all the way to the bottom. You're going to do better than everybody else that's trying to buy and sell 100%. So ignore that. You just go, it's just, seriously, it makes it so simple. Gerardo Vargas says, I second this idea. I only watch Arcane Bear. Well, I appreciate that. Don't want to get too much into like, look, for instance, I'm very grateful that BitBoy has me on the show. Like I have a wonderful time chatting with Wendy too. Like I'm huge fans of Lark. Like I watch Lark's videos every now and then because I like Lark, not because I'm looking to come up with my own thesis. I already know what I need to do. I watch Lark because I like Lark. I watch Data Dash because I like these people. They're my friends, in fact, right? So my interest there is not from an investment thesis. It's more for like, hey, how are my friends doing? What are they up to? Kind of sentiment. Nice. Alex Kushner says, the less I care about my wardrobe, the more money I made. That's a true story. Although I did buy a nice linen jacket the other day. Oh, I love linen so much. It's hard to find good linen clothes in Costa Rica, but it's like see-through. Like look how it's basically when it's see-through, that's how you know it's like a good jam. September dip advice, just keep buying. Remember, trading dollars for assets, that's a real smart long-term move. Any regrets moving to Costa Rica over Puerto Rico? So I'm not an American citizen, so Puerto Rico offers me zero benefits. So yes, pros versus cons. Costa Rica is way more advantageous for me than Puerto Rico. But if you're an American, that might be a different story. Both David Salazar and Brian Colney have given Alex shout-outs for Alex gets it. Priorities. Don't buy nice clothes, just buy more Avalanche. That's not investment advice. Lark is great. Glasswalker says, I agree. Sasha B says, greetings from Switzerland in the Valley of Crypto. I want to visit Switzerland one day. Looks like a beautiful country. I love big mountains. Hey brother, let's talk about shrooms. That's awesome. Yes, I'm going to do that, but not on this channel because they're going to try to ban me for something. It's Crypto Nut. Oh, Crypto Nut as well is another person that I enjoy. Although I definitely follow him more on Twitter. I guess part of it is you should support your friends. Okay, let's be clear here. I support all my friends and my family, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm looking to them for advice. I think the stronger you can keep your internal dialogue, the better you will do over time. Matt C says, you make something that is seemingly complex very simple. Invest, accumulate, hold, done. Beautiful. Thank you for that. I really appreciate the support there. Thank you for the super chat, they call those as well. Oh, actually, seeing as that's a fun thing that we like to do, and we always like to do it. For those of you that do not know, the Arcane Bear was built off this idea that one day we could get to a point where we could help underbanked, charities and I don't know. We'll just call them charities for now, just because I'm for the saving of time and grace and trying to explain myself. So one of the things that we are big fans of is a company called Kiva. For those of you that do not know, Kiva is a 501(c) nonprofit that helps underbanked and underserved entrepreneurs all around the world get loans for the business that they started. So the Arcane Bear family is here on Kiva, and we are constantly making loans to those underbanked entrepreneurs. Now, the loans get paid back. So every month you get that money that you lent out back to you. So since the start of 2021, the Arcane Bear family together has lent out over $15,500. That's over 275 loans, 21 loans this month alone. That's 65 people in the Arcane Bear family. So if you go to arcanebear.com/Kiva, you can join the platform. And just for fun, check this out. This is the fun part. Let's take a look at the Arcane Bear portfolio. So over the last year, we've lent out $4,725. And we have another $500 that just got paid back to us in loans that we can go lend out. So let's go find a woman in agriculture, because these are smart ideas in my opinion. Let's see, we got Nicaragua, Rwanda. Who can we fill out? $350. Jacqueline Del Carmen to buy beans and vegetables. I like beans and vegetables, Jacqueline. So that seems like a smart move to me. We're going to fill you out. She needs $350 to fill out the rest of her loan. So she wants to do this. She started her food business years ago, taking advantage of her love for cooking and her knowledge of flavors. This is a businesswoman. It is important to have support as well, who is present in every goal she sets. So she's already worked for both. She's comfortable in asking from a new loan, as she's done this before and paid it back, for vegetables, meat, cheese, oil, cacao, milk, and sugar. I like most of those things. In the future, she wants to improve her store. So what we're going to do today is we're going to lend that money to Jacqueline, and she's going to be able to approve. I hate when the YouTube, Google nonsense bullshit comes up. So we're going to fill out that whole loan for her for the $355 in Bingo Bango, and just like that, we'll make a $52 donation to Kiva too. Sure, why not? And Bingo Bango, just like that, Jacqueline Del Carmen from Nicaragua is on her way to pursuing her business and producing positive results for her community. So we'll just go share that on Twitter. We'll tweet something here. I don't know what it's going to tell me to say. Guys, so I love Kiva for this reason. So one of the fun parts for me is the fact that the Arcane Bear family has grown to a place where we get to do stuff like this frequently. Oh, also, well, you can see here on Twitter, Atlas is launching in 2 days. So make sure you are set up in whatever area you need to join in on this one. I'm a big fan. I'm gonna drop in my heads I win, tails I only lose, a little thesis here, and also for Magna as well, 2 NFT platforms. This is the first time I've been excited about a video game since Crash Bandicoot as well. So make sure you follow us on Twitter for any of those updates. Yeah, here it is, all the Twitter stuff. And yeah, this was a fun quote. Investing is trading dollars for assets, and trading is trading assets for dollars. Be on the right side of that trade, ladies and gentlemen. It'll help you out. We'll go back. We'll take a look at a few more of your guys' thoughts and questions. Wailing Banshee says, don't hold fiat, buy Arcane Bears NFTs for charity. So for those of you that are aware as well, I've been doing art pieces. I'm not a great artist, but I love doing art. And we're actually going to be selling another art piece for charity here in the near future. So I've got 2 that I've been working on this last week. And maybe you guys can even give me a rundown of which you would like to see. So this is the Bit Bear. It'll either be this one that goes up for auction for charity, or it's going to be this other one. Now, the video about the charity visit to Territorios de Zaguates I'm working on, it was really hard to actually make the video and be with the dogs all at one time. So I was, I didn't get as much footage as I would like. The other one that might be going up here is also this one. I don't know what it's called yet. I think it's like an African face, but one of the parts I really like about this one is if you get really close, oh no, let's delete that. If you get really close here, you can see all these fun little star maps in his lips that I like too. Little star maps, you zoom out. So one of these will be going up for charity again as well here in the future. So thank you guys for participating. I'm gonna continue to do this once every 2 to 3 months. And the highest bidder will get to pick where the charity we donate to goes, or you guys can leave it up to me. If you pick a charity in Costa Rica, like they did with Territorios de Zaguates, I will personally go there and deliver the cash myself, like we did with Territorios de Zaguates. So if you want to have more fun with it, try to pick somewhere in Costa Rica so I can go there and visit them, just as a side note as well. Okay, last parts of the questions. Thanks for your insight. I appreciate it. How's Merck looking? Great. Everything's fine and normal on that end. How do you feel about alluvium? No idea. Alluvium, that's like a geomorphological substratum, I believe. Alluvium, if you are full. Anyways, that's do your homework on that one, I guess. But I believe I'm correct. This is so brilliant, Tio. Wonderful example. The more I make, the more I want to give back. Thank you for what you do. Greetings from Right Walk, BC. I'm happy to share. I cannot tell you how humbling and grateful how humbling it is and how grateful I am. I'm just trying to sound like I actually know how to speak English here, to be able to do that. The fact that we drew up an art piece, raised $1,600 for a charity is just mind-boggling to me. Like, I cannot tell you how grateful I am with words for that experience. It means the world to me. So thank you guys. I had a wonderful time with you here again today. I really appreciate the support. It means the world to me. Again, you know, we're kind of always just moving forward. I see one of you guys asking about Benjamin Cohen. I would love to chat with Ben, but you know, I'm not very popular because I also am not very popular. I've been that way my whole life. When buying Bitcoin at $90 was not a popular thing to do. Eating mushrooms like 15 years ago made me a criminal. To the majority of the world and the people, I was a criminal because I liked mushrooms. So again, that ability to remain steadfast, interested, and passionate while everyone else is calling you a criminal is a very difficult thing to do. Yet, if you figure that out and you become a good investor and you can see those trends coming, hey, look, mushrooms are accepted now. They're on their phase 3 clinical trials by the FDA and on their way. Although how they approved the vaccines before getting mushrooms makes no sense. Anyways, it's another story. Not here for YouTube. Shouldn't even have used that word on this goddamn channel. I'm sure of that. Anyways, I love you guys. This is Teal with the Arcane Bear. I'm signing off for the rest of the day. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. Or give us the thumbs down if you think I'm totally way off base, because YouTube does not care and neither do I. We're only here for the clicks. Whether you click up or down, I'm happy.